In the vast wilderness of the United States, an unexpected discovery has left scientists, conservationists, and wildlife enthusiasts alike grappling with an urgent question. Should hybrid wolves be protected or removed? For centuries, wolves have roamed the American wilderness, their howl a symbol of untamed nature. Yet in recent years, a new breed of wolf has emerged, a hybrid that blends the characteristics of the wild grey wolf and the domestic dog. At first glance, these hybrid wolves may appear to be just another rare, unusual animal, but the discovery has ignited a complex debate about their place in the ecosystem. Are these hybrid wolves an important part of the future of American wildlife? Or do they pose a threat to the very balance of nature that has existed for centuries? Scientists first began observing these hybrid wolves in the forests of northern Minnesota and Wisconsin, where sightings of animals that didn't quite fit the description of a purebred wolf were reported. With some possessing physical traits that were clearly more canine than wolf, researchers began to take a closer look. The hybrids are the result of wild grey wolves mating with domestic dogs, a phenomenon that has been occurring for decades but only recently documented in detail. While hybrid wolves have been found in other parts of the world, their presence in the US raises several unique questions about the consequences of their existence. For one, these hybrids possess an uncanny ability to adapt to human-dominated landscapes. Unlike their purely wild cousins, hybrid wolves tend to be more comfortable around people and are less fearful of human structures and settlements. This newfound boldness has led to increasing sightings near residential areas and even reports of attacks on livestock, an unsettling prospect for farmers and ranchers. On the other hand, hybrid wolves have been found to exhibit traits of both wolves and dogs, with the hunting instincts of wolves but the loyalty and domesticated nature of dogs. Some scientists argue that hybrid wolves could offer a unique opportunity to reintroduce wolves to regions where pure wolves had been eradicated. Others fear that their presence could endanger the genetic integrity of the wolf population, diluting the wild species and disrupting natural predation and ecosystem balance. With the federal protection of grey wolves in certain regions, the question remains: should hybrid wolves be granted the same protection, or should they be classified as a threat? The arrival of these hybrid wolves signals a shift in the delicate relationship between humans, animals, and the wilderness. Over the years, the reintroduction of grey wolves into areas like Yellowstone has been hailed as a conservation success, showing how wolves can help balance ecosystems by controlling prey populations. But now, scientists are wondering if hybrid wolves could disrupt this restoration. If these hybrids were allowed to roam freely, what impact would they have on local wildlife, ecosystems, and the delicate balance that has taken years to rebuild? Would they push out pure grey wolves from certain territories, competing for food and space? Would hybrid wolves form packs that operate differently from their wild counterparts, affecting the natural predator-prey relationships? On the other side of the argument, some believe hybrid wolves should not be viewed as a threat, but as an opportunity to protect and study a new subspecies. These hybrids could play a significant role in the survival of wolves in areas where wild wolves are struggling to thrive. As climate change and habitat loss continue to reduce the available territories for pure wolves, hybrid wolves could provide a viable solution for conserving wolf populations in certain regions. In a sense, these hybrid wolves may offer the best of both worlds, a mix of wild instincts and domestic adaptability. But this argument is complicated by the fact that many hybrid wolves have a mix of behaviors that make them unpredictable. Hybrid wolves may be more likely to scavenge human food or become habituated to human presence, which could result in dangerous interactions or attacks on people and property. While these animals may seem harmless, their presence in populated areas could also create new risks for both humans and wildlife. Farmers and ranchers are especially concerned, fearing that hybrid wolves may target livestock, as their domesticated side makes them more prone to foraging in human settlements. Additionally, there are concerns about how hybrid wolves would affect the behavior of other wild animals in the area. Would they disrupt the natural balance between predator and prey in the same way that purebred wolves do, or would their mixed heritage result in behaviors that are difficult to predict? Some conservationists argue that the best approach is to protect hybrid wolves and let nature take its course, trusting that their adaptability will allow them to thrive in the wild. But many remain uncertain whether hybrid wolves belong in the wilderness or should be managed in a more controlled environment to prevent unforeseen consequences. Another concern is the genetic purity of the species. By allowing hybrid wolves to roam freely, are we inadvertently undermining efforts to preserve the genetic integrity of pure grey wolves? Wolves have long been a symbol of the wild and are central to many ecosystems. With the introduction of hybrids, there's a growing fear that we may lose something essential, an untouched, untamed wolf species that represents the raw beauty of nature. Scientists have emphasized that wolves are not just creatures that need protecting, they are keystone species that shape entire ecosystems. A healthy wolf population helps regulate herbivore numbers, prevents overgrazing, and supports biodiversity in ways that no other species can. But if hybrid wolves take over areas where pure wolves once thrived, will that delicate balance be disturbed? One of the main challenges lies in understanding the long-term ecological effects of hybrid wolves on the environment. How will their behavior affect other animal populations, and will their presence lead to the spread of hybridization in the wild? Hybridization between species is not unique to wolves, but it can result in a loss of biodiversity when it leads to the extinction of purebred animals. For example, the interbreeding of coyotes and wolves has already been documented in some parts of the country, leading to concerns about the future of pure wolf populations. This is a case of genetic dilution. When a species' gene pool becomes diluted through interbreeding with a different species, it can result in a less resilient population. In the case of hybrid wolves, the question becomes, should we protect a species for its genetic purity, or is it more important to focus on the broader conservation goals of maintaining healthy populations in the wild? The complexity of these issues means that wildlife management decisions are rarely black and white. As scientists continue to monitor and study these hybrid wolves, the goal is to find a solution that ensures the future of wolves, their ecosystems, and the people who live alongside them. Some experts suggest that hybrid wolves should be monitored carefully to assess their impact on the environment before any large-scale interventions are made. Others argue that it may be better to focus on purebred grey wolves, ensuring that they remain the dominant species in the wild. The growing presence of hybrid wolves in the US is just one of many challenges facing wildlife conservation today. It represents the intersection of human intervention, natural processes, and technological advancements in tracking and understanding wildlife. As our relationship with nature continues to evolve, it's essential to keep asking these difficult questions. How can we protect the wilderness without disrupting it? Should hybrid wolves be given the chance to integrate into the wild? Or should we intervene to preserve the purity of wolf species? Ultimately, the fate of these hybrid wolves will depend on the answers to these questions. Their discovery challenges us to rethink our approach to wildlife conservation and management. It's not just about protecting animals, it's about preserving the delicate balance of ecosystems that depend on them. As scientists work to understand hybrid wolves and their place in nature, it's up to us to decide whether we see them as a part of our wild heritage or as a problem to be solved. The answer may lie somewhere in between, because sometimes the most difficult decisions come when we must balance progress with preservation.